Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rich Longo, your host from sunny Florida. I want to thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Today's presentation is on cloud cost control. It seems to elude several major corporations out there, down from the large to the small, actually, presented by none other than our own Bobby McCullough. Bobby has been in the IT industry for well over 20 years and started with Flycast Partners to help us expand and reach into digital transformation in the cloud. He has been involved in the implementation of multiple tools for a major multinational financial organization, a software engineer for USPS, ITIL V3 and Scrum certified with experience in ITSM, ITFM, ITAM, and digital transformation. Before we get started, Bobby, let me introduce our organization. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. Founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space, we took the best ideas from all of these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in ITSM, ITAM, batch processing, capacity optimization and cost control, artificial intelligence, business intelligence, enterprise service management, all using ITIL best practice. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of their size, their complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to help reinforce your organization's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration and support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on those normal day-to-day tasks, saving you both time and precious money. I encourage you to reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST, that's 844-359-2278, or go to our website at www.flycastpartners.com. You can chat with one of our ITSM specialists or research on our website new technologies and the latest and greatest in white papers and data sheets. You can also check out some of the training that we offer here at Flycast Partners. Look at some of the different things that you've always wanted to try and take or learn about, but didn't think you could quite afford it. Well, we have some courses that are very affordable and self-paced. I also encourage you to take a look at our upcoming webinars and find some topics of discussion that may interest you or your team. You'll notice that next week we have digital transformation, followed by the ITIL ITSM overview. For additional information about webinars or additional topics of webinars you would like to see, I encourage you to email us at info@flycastpartners.com. That's info@flycastpartners.com, or pick up the phone and dial 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Now, during today's presentation, should you have any questions for Bobby, we encourage you to type those questions in our Q&A section provided here on the WebEx. In the Q&A section on the WebEx, please type your question, and Bobby will answer as many questions as he can throughout our presentation up until the ending of our presentation as time allows. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn this presentation over to Bobby. Bobby, I see your screen. It looks great, and we're just waiting for your audio.
Great. Thank you, Rich, very much.
Hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We're going to talk a bit about TrueSight cloud cost control, and as we talk to our customers and talk about the challenges that they have, we find that managing the cost associated with a multi-cloud infrastructure and specifically moving to the public cloud infrastructure, that seems to be an area of particular concern. Well, BMC has invested in a specific solution to address these challenges that help organizations manage their cloud and on-premise infrastructure costs, as well as optimize the use of the resources they're paying for. So what's the symptom? Well, as investment and budget is being shifted away from traditional on-premise infrastructure to multi-cloud, it looks like companies have a lot to learn. Gartner even anticipates that 80% of organizations are going to continue to have budget overruns. This is primarily due to a lack of governance or insight into cloud spend. This overspend is something that's caused, it's basically caused by something that IT organizations have been doing for a long, long time, and that's over-provisioning. IT organizations haven't had to experience the immediate business impact that comes from purchasing cloud infrastructure using operational budget. And the overspend is expected to be significant, 70% in the first 18 months of cloud use. And as we talk to organizations, we're finding evidence of these projections regularly. We had one large technology manufacturer shared they were spending 200 to 300% more than they anticipated on their public cloud. Another company in the educational industry was expecting a $3 million a month bill from Amazon, got $32 million. So these are real problems for real organizations, and TrueSight Cloud Cost Control can help you from being included in these statistics. So what's the sickness? Well, we've got a list of major challenges here that we hear about when we talk to organizations, and really it comes down to complexity. You've got different buyers, different buying centers inside of a company. So basically, it's the Wild West on buying. There's no checks and balances. This leads to a lack of visibility on what's being spent, what's being purchased, even within a specific business unit. And doing it this way, public cloud spending can really add up quickly. Independent buying centers is usually something where the CFO is the first person to understand the spend, and that is not the situation you want to be in. Public cloud has also made the business of selecting and buying infrastructure very complicated, offering more resource and price configurations than you have for your on-premise resources. Azure currently has about 65,000 different options for virtual machine deployments, and AWS is over 1 million. That oversized and unused resources, those bad habits that were formed from on-premise resources, organizations really haven't invested in capacity management, believing it's just cheaper to buy additional assets. So having an oversized virtual machine, storage, idle VMs, or utilization rates of 20% have all been acceptable. These habits become very expensive when moving workloads to the public cloud. You're paying for underutilized and unused resources out of your operating budget. Public cloud also means operating budget is being spent every minute of every day throughout the month, quarter, and year. IT and other cloud buyers need help planning their overall budget as they move resources from on-premise cloud to, and most importantly, they need visibility into how that spend is tracking compared to their operational budget. And all this means everybody's involved in public cloud buying and spending needs visibility. It's easy to overspend unintentionally. IT and business staff are not used to thinking about the cost of infrastructure. And we've got several examples at BMC of we've already talked a couple of those where organizations have one concept of what that spend is going to look like, and then once they get into it, they find that it's much, much different. All of this is due to a lack of ability to forecast costs, lack of visibility, making managing operational budgets difficult. Organizations having a lack of governance over their public cloud really leads to a lot of these problems. So what's the solution? Basically, it sounds like the cloud is just a money vacuum up in the sky. Well, first off, you can't expect what you can't inspect. I'm going to show you here in the demonstration how you can see your costs from multiple perspectives and how you can have what are basically organizationally defined views. And when I start this demo, I want you to notice how that visibility, we'll talk about visibility at the first, but really it's throughout the tool from all the different perspectives. You're going to have the visibility that you need to understand what you need to understand and get it in a timely fashion. enhanced migration planning. So we're talking about the cloud. Digital transformation is table stakes for the cloud. You've got to be able to properly plan migration to and from the cloud with respect to cost. And I'm going to show you how you can have multiple options for understanding what to move and where. Budgeting is one thing, but understanding where you are in a budget cycle and notification when you're projected to exceed, those are the things that are critical. Not going over budget is kind of the whole point, isn't it? I'm going to show you how you can visually understand where you are with the budget, and we'll talk a little bit about proactive notifications that can be generated as well. Optimization, both of your resources and your cost, so that your organization gets what it pays for and uses what it gets. This one is really just as simple as that. We're going to help you ensure that your cloud infrastructure is optimized from both the utilization and cost perspectives. We're going to discuss how this habit is a holdover from the old on-premise days of right-sizing infrastructure. So let's jump over into the demo real quick. So this is TrueSight Cloud Cost Control. And again, I want you to notice the visibility here. Right away, you've got at your fingertips where you are and where it's projecting you're going to be. This is using your actual costs. These aren't catalog prices or anything like that. The tool can log into currently AWS, Azure, and Google, and pull in your cost information. It can update that information daily, more often if needed. But it brings that information in and then projects it out. So basically, if you continue spending or utilizing services at the current rate, these are the projected costs going out. And so this is all critical. This is critical to understanding where you are, where your organization is. Most organizations, when they have a mandate to move to the cloud, there's some kind of mix, maybe between different cloud providers or between on-cloud and on-premise. This tool gives you immediate insight into that, and also where you're going to be for the end of the year. So if the director expects you to be at 50% in Azure at the end of the year, you know right away where you are along with that. Now, one of your questions is probably going to be, this is great, Bobby, but not all cloud services are the same. How in the world do you handle that? So TrueSight has a concept of 2x4, where 2 CPUs by 4 gigs of RAM to normalize out what a compute hour is, and obviously additional memory or CPUs would increase that compute hours. But the tool will give you this information both in a cost perspective and in a compute hour perspective, so that you can understand how your system is being used. One of the big features, obviously, of a cloud cost control type solution is going to be migration, understanding where you are in your migration services, what your costs are going toward. And this is a good point to bring up discovery. I'm not sure if your organization has a discovery tool. BMC has a very good class leader in discovery, ADDM, that allows you to go out and connect to your cloud services and not just bring in this level of detail where you understand the cost by your cloud service, but also bring it in by your business service so that you can understand what makes up HR service management and so on. So this is very, very helpful, bringing this type of information into the tool. And what it's doing is, this is like a Rubik's Cube. It's giving us, this is the exact same information we saw over on the summary, over here within our cloud services. We're just looking at it by business service. What business services are projected to cost the most, which are projected to cost above their previous month. We can sort those largest to smallest. This is available in any of the screens that we've been in. But we know that we can go right here to our HR service management screen. And because we've used Discovery to bring this in, we can simulate a cloud migration for just this service. So I can click my Simulate Cloud Migration, and right away the system tells me we're in AWS. It looks like we probably could reconfigure this for some cost savings that we'll talk about in the optimization screen here in a minute. It looks like if we moved it to Azure or Google, our long-term costs, if we were using those type of contracts, would actually go up. This is a great way to look at what needs to be migrated, what can be migrated. This all is available to be exported out, so you can share this with the manager, executives as needed. But this is just one perspective of that migration. That migration is also available by servers. So we could come out and simulate a cloud migration and actually go out and select specific servers that we might want to migrate. And this tells us that actually moving these to a long-term contract with AWS would be the most cost-effective. Very, very helpful to know that type of information. But again, it doesn't just stop there. It's making suggestions for how you might handle the system if it's migrated, but it's also all the different cost perspectives that you might need to see. How has the system been, how has the cost on the system gone recently? What is it projected to do through the rest of the year? What's our budget associated with this? It looks like we may have some budgeting problems here. Days to exhaust the budget. This one is actually already over budget, listed as an overspender. We get over into more of the budget. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Able to drill into build details. So this is where you can, again, see the data, see your cloud information, your cloud infrastructure from all these different perspectives, drill right in and find the cost, and find what the cost should be as well. So we talked about budgeting. Really, ongoing cost analysis is always required for successful budget management, and cloud cost control allows you to automate that budget management. You're able to define your budgets based on how you manage your business, so it's either through these application groupings, maybe through business service groupings, individual applications, or by business unit. You're able to define your budgets that way, and through tagging of your cloud services, you can establish the budget views that you need. So you're able to see this information in a way that makes sense to you, not necessarily what made sense to Azure or AWS or Google, but what makes sense to you. And then TrueSight Cloud Cost Control through machine learning is going to detect abnormal spending behavior and provide you with predictive forecasting, so that you're going to be notified when there's a possible budget overrun. Not just when the budget has been exceeded, like we found out from the HR service management system, but when it's projected to exceed the budget. In other words, if you keep utilizing these services the way you have been, this one is going to exceed the budget that you've entered in for the system. This is great from a proactive perspective, because we can actually have notification associated with that, either to the business unit or to the Cloud Cost Control Management Group. So you can have that type of notification. You can set these budget thresholds as static, so that when the threshold is exceeded, you're notified, or you can use the business intelligence, so that when the business intelligence projects that it's going to be exceeded, you can be notified. And this also gives you an opportunity to view your spend and determine about notifying that budget. You're able to define those existing application groups for assigning the budgets, so that you can see these application groups in a way that makes sense to you. You're able to set those flexible or static thresholds and get notified by the rules. Those notifications can be automatic when an application or a service is forecasted to go over. Notified of that anomalous spending behavior using dynamic thresholds. Use existing application groupings or define your own. So again, just because the discovery tool brought this over in a way that makes sense to everybody else, there may be a particular grouping that might make sense to you that's really different from that ADVM or discovery data. The tool's flexible enough to allow you to do something like that. So let's go over and talk about cost optimization for just a second. And this is where there's a couple of things that are really new this year. The budgeting, that's something that we added into the tool. It really made sense to add that in. We're already bringing in the cost data and projecting that out. Very simple to bring in that budget data and then just compare those numbers. So that was easy for us. This was a little more of a stretch. This is looking at how should your clouds be configured. Your cloud, whether it's public or private, on-premise, data center, virtual machines, or something out in the public cloud. So right now, we've got two methods of looking at this: optimizing your resources and optimizing your costs. So with your resources, you're able to find savings opportunities across both your public and private clouds. You're able to find things like storage savings by identifying unused volumes that you can delete, resources that you idle VMs, resources that can be reduced, VMs that are over allocated so that you can have further savings. So here it's telling us that we've got some virtual machines that aren't being used and others that are they're just too big for their purpose. And that right now on these machines we're spending approximately $1,000 a month. We could actually cut $100,000 a month, nearly $1 million a month. Let me get my numbers right. And if we optimize this, we can save nearly half, or a little over half, by terminating idle VMs, virtual machines that really aren't being used, and right-sizing some VMs as well. Now, that's just one side of the optimization view. The other side here is our reserved instances. So managing and optimizing the use of reserved instances can get complicated quickly and difficult to say at times. Automatically, the tool will automatically monitor your reserved instance purchases so it knows where you are, what's being used, find out if you're optimally using your purchased reserved instances. You get recommendations to switch or sell unused reserved instances, and also recommendations to purchase new reserved instances so that you can reduce your on-demand cost. So for those that aren't familiar with it, Amazon has lots of different types of computing that you can purchase. Some of that computing is on demand, where I need it now, give it to me. Others are reserved instances where basically you reserve the right to use that instance whenever you need it. And there are cost benefits to both versions. If something is rarely used, obviously the the on-demand system is probably the best way to go. If something is used more frequently, a reserved instance is the best way to go. Cloud cost control will look at how you're utilizing your instances to make recommendations on those. And so here, the system is recommending that we purchase 8 new reserved instances to replace some of our on-demand instances. And then here's 3 existing reserved instances that it looks like we can get rid of, all for savings. So this is really the 4, visibility into the tool, but it's really visibility across the board. It's visibility from a summary perspective. Where is my organization in its digital transformation to the cloud? Visibility into my budget. Where are we? Who's over budget? Who's going to be over budget? What can we do about it? Visibility from a business perspective, where you're able to define your infrastructure from the business perspective of what's it supporting, what is it value is it providing to the business, and see the cost, see the optimization from that type of perspective. We've also got the server perspective. So your infrastructure guys, the guys over in the data center, they're probably used to seeing these type of perspectives. This is, again, same data, all the same data that we've seen across the board here, directly within from the server perspective. And then finally, a cost optimization option as well. This is, again, to help you understand where your organization is with their infrastructure, where they are with their digital transformation into the cloud, and where you should be with your transformation into the cloud. So we continue. Really, TrueSight Cloud Cost Control is doing a lot. This is sort of our second capacity presentation that we've done. This one just focused on the cloud. And while it is a very complete suite of cost control tools, there's more capability that being added to it all the time. From the visibility perspective, you can expect more cloud providers that are going to come up, IBM and Oracle specifically. We're also going to add some role-based access. Right now, we do not have role-based access in the tool. That's coming. That's where you'll be able to roll this out, where the different business units will be able to access their section of it and see these same perspectives of their data, their piece of the data. That enhanced migration, where we're going to add more services to those simulated migrations, and eventually have a catalog of services for the migrations so that your users can determine what resources are going to be included in those simulated migrations. Proactive budgeting, along with current machine learning capabilities that are used for predicting budget overruns. We're going to simplify adding and maintaining operational budgets by providing APIs for importing the budget data. So we're going to make that easier to get that in. Constantly looking at ways to enhance the tool and make it easier to use for our customers. And finally, with optimizing resources and costs, we're going to continue to enhance these capabilities in the future. We're going to try to add the ability to identify workloads that should be run on more than one schedule, workloads that are good candidates for auto-scaling, and then some enhancements to our over and under provisioned resources recommendations as well. So this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a tool that is finished. It is very complete as it is, but it is constantly going to be added to and expanded as the cloud offerings that are available expand as well. Rich, do we have any questions?
Not as of right this second. There are no questions. But, folks, if you have questions, please, by all means, type those questions in the Q&A section of this WebEx, and Bobby will answer it for you, or you can put it in the chat section of this WebEx. There are no questions as of right now, Bobby.
I did want to add real with my release here, I get access to new features as they come up, and we've got something that came out just last week, the ability to identify cost pools. And so this is where we talked about your organizationally defined views. This is one of those views that you can define what goes into a cost pool, and so that you can understand, again, what's its budget, what is it using, what is it responsible for that it's not using, what does its bill look like, and migrate from that perspective as well. So again, multiple features, multiple perspectives, all geared around what are you being charged, where is it going, and how can we do that better. Well, Rich, if there's no more questions, that's really all I had for our session today. I'll give everybody back some of their time.
We actually just have a question that just literally popped up here. This comes from Michael. Michael wants to know what underlying BMC components are required to be able to use this tool.
So this is a standalone tool on its own. It does benefit from a discovery tool, integration with the discovery tool, and obviously out of the box with BMC's discovery. That's helpful, but it is a standalone tool all on its own. That's a good question. Any
other questions, folks? Anything else? Let's see if we've got something else here. It says we have one, but I'm not able to access it for some reason. Hang on one second here. Okay, so looks like we have a couple more. I'm trying to get them to move up for me here. Great question. Is this a Flycast Partners developed tool, or is it BMC developed?
So I'm sorry. I get where that question came from my description of this. I am a Flycast Partners employee, but I exclusively work on a couple of BMC products. And so when you heard me talk about our development, it's BMC's development. It's not Flycast development. I was using the royal we.
Next question, does it integrate with other BMC components such as Remedy?
Yes, it will, most definitely. So the way that would work is through those notifications when you want when you want to be notified, when you want a ticket created, that notification can automatically create that ticket in the remedy system so that you can track that budget overage or budget overage projection, whatever is appropriate. Good question.
Next question, via APIs or is there built-in functionality already done?
So if I understand the question correctly, there are APIs. There is built-in. There are pre-built integrations available for the BMC tools, but there is an API where we can integrate with other tools if we need to. For that ticketing purpose. With the cloud infrastructure and your on-premise infrastructure, this is something that that is defined. Did I answer the question?
Here's the response. Meaning remedy to TrueSight functionality already done, or we need to develop our own interfaces to remedy, for example?
No. No, the interface to remedy is already developed.
And that looks like that was our last question. I don't have any other questions in there, Bobby. So I want to thank you for your presentation today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day for us. Folks, thank you again for attending another Flycast Partners webinar and taking time out of your busy day to spend with us, Flycast Partners. I wish you a great weekend after this, and until next time.